we'll all get ready to go here with our morning show. And I want to say this portion of the WTIM morning show brought to you by People's Bank and Trust. And you can always check out our live stream on WTIM YouTube TV and on TaylorvilleDailyNews.com on our Facebook page. And now joining us, how ironic, is Lindsay Lopian and Jeff Grimmett, both from People's Bank and Trust. And guys, provided I've got all your microphones all ready and good to go, I want to thank you guys so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
All right, guys. So first of all, I feel like it's the pun thing to do is and say if you guys are from the Bank and Trust, can I have a little bit of money? No, I'm just kidding. But we are going to talk a little bit about responsible borrowing and how important that is. I think sometimes and I know my kids are guilty of this, is, we are do things on card so much that I think people tend to forget, like, that has to come from somewhere.
You're exactly right.
Especially with, my kid plays a lot of video games and it's $5 here, $3 there. It starts to add up a little bit. So responsible borrowing, obviously a very, very important topic that is important whether you're 17 years old or you're 77 years old. Wouldn't you agree?
Most definitely.
All right. So tell me a little bit about what are some ways that I can be more responsible in the ways that I borrow money.
So just being informed, knowing what kind of programs are out there. Like today, we're going to talk about mortgage programs. And, your home is kind of one of your biggest purchases that you will ever make in your life. And there are numerous mortgage programs out there available to you to use. And each of them have some certain criteria that has to be met and stuff like that. But so we're here to explain those types of programs. And then just to let people know that, we're here to make the process as easy as possible. And we're here to just kind of walk you through the entire mortgage process.
Yep. And see which program actually works best for your situation. A couple of options that people have we have a program called Rural Development Loans, a conventional fixed rate loan, FHA loans, VA loans, and in-house adjustable rate mortgages. So those are what we're here to actually talk about today, and some of the requirements for the different types. You also, Lindsay, are going to talk about the Down Payment Plus program.
I am, and then home equity lines of credit.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, we've got a lot to get through it, so let's get to it. So talk a little bit about those type of loans. And I think on the surface, when you hear them in your ear, they all sound the same. So what's the big difference between them?
So rural development loans are for rural areas. Pretty much everywhere around here is a rural area. You get up into Springfield, and obviously that's not a rural area.
Yes.
But around here, around Taylorville, around this area, are all rural areas. So most houses most people would qualify for a rural development program. There are certain income requirements that have to be met, stuff like that. But normally with a rural development loan, there is no down payment required. Typically, 100% financing available. It is a fixed rate and for 30 years financing. You do have to have a minimum credit score of 640. So that would be something to think about. Closing costs typically with this type of loan kind of vary. Normally $3,000 to $4,500. Typically, like I said, and you are required to escrow your taxes and insurance.
Right. And depending on which option is suitable for the individual, there are requirements for each one, different down payment options. Some of them require more, some require less. Of course, closing costs is associated with any real estate loan. And like Lindsay had mentioned, on some of them, there's income limits if it's a certain program like the rural development.
Mm-hmm. So the next option just is your regular conventional real estate loan. You do have to have a minimum down payment of 5%. And of course, the more you have as a down payment, the better. It is a fixed rate with different terms available. So 10, 15, 20, 30-year terms. So we would talk to you about terms, kind of what payment would fit into your budget. So that would, of course, affect the term. We would need a minimum credit score of 630 as well. Closing costs typically around for a conventional real estate loan, 3,500 to 5,000.
And those depend on there's a lot of things that determine the closing cost. If you're going to escrow, of course you have to fund that up front. So that kind of typically makes the closing cost a little higher. But those are options that you have with a conventional loan, whether you choose to escrow or not, which is where the taxes and insurance are rolled into the payment. So you're not at those times of year when taxes are due and insurance premium is due for the year. That's already kind of been taken care of because you've been paying that each month as you make your house payment.
Oh, yeah.
And then also the escrow of your taxes and insurance is optional if you have 20% down payment for that type of loan. Next option would be an FHA loan. That is a loan guaranteed by the Federal Housing Administration. It has a lot lower minimum down payment. So you can have as little as 3.5% down on an FHA loan. So a little bit less strict than some other programs. It's not limited to first-time home buyers. You can get an FHA. You can, have a loan, not be a first-time home buyer, and then decide to use the FHA program. It is a fixed rate for a 30-year term. There is mortgage insurance required. And we can talk to the customer about that when they come in. There is an upfront fee that would need to be paid, and that is 1.75% of the loan amount. Also, minimum credit score on a FHA loan is 620, and closing costs again can vary, but typically around 3,000 to 4,500.
All right, we got to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll talk about my favorite loan, the VA loan. We'll be right back. You're listening to WTIM, your information station, where we are joined by Lindsay Lopia and Jeff Grimmett from People's Bank and Trust. We'll be right back right after this.
Your information station, WTIM. Your information station, WTIM.
Welcome back to WTIM, your information station. Leroy Clamola here, joined by Lindsay Lopian and Jeff Grimmett from People's Bank and Trust. This section of our WTIM morning show brought to you, ironically, by People's Bank and Trust. So it all works out just fine. And we're talking about some of the different loans that you can get. And I know one of the more important loans on there is the VA loan to help veterans as well.
Exactly. So a VA loan is available to active duty
Dirty.
service members, veterans, National Guard and Reserve service members, as well as certain eligible spouses. With a VA loan, you can get 100% financing is available. And it's not limited to first-time home buyers. You can get multiple over the years. Fixed rate, and there is really no more mortgage insurance premiums on VA loans. So very great program for veterans and active duty service members.
All right, what else we got going on, guys?
So once you purchase your home and you've built some equity in that house, you can actually borrow against the equity in your home and get a home equity line of credit. Our loan here at People's Bank is a 25-year loan, and it can be used for really anything. Projects around the house, fixing your roof, HVAC kind of things, or fixing your kitchen, your bathroom, really anything. Although the rate is variable, it is typically lower than a credit card, so much cheaper option than putting that type of big expense on a credit card. Also, we have down payment assistance programs. So Down Payment Plus. Down Payment Plus is a grant to help someone purchase your home. You would need $1,000 down payment and you would receive a $10,000 grant. So that's a good chunk of change to put down on your home. There are some income guidelines that have to be met, and those depend on your household size. Typically for one person, the income is around $37,000 per year. You would need to live in the home for at least 5 years, and then the funds from that grant would be 100% forgiven.
All right, sounds good. Where can people go to get more information?
So they can go to our website, bankpbt.com, make an appointment to come see us. They can call any of our branches at 888-728-1954, or they can contact Jeff and I directly. My direct line is 855-847-2321.
And mine is 855-478-8526. And we welcome you to stop by and come and see us, and we can go over these great programs for you.
Sounds good. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.